Yes, honey, that chair's tearing.
Yeah.
That's an old chair. All right, morning everyone. We are back out here. It is Friday. Today is the day we're going to be getting a visit from the guys from Forestry. They're going to take a look at those teak that had that issue. Maybe they've got some answers for that. They're also bringing a bunch of new trees. We've got to plant out and replace all our dead trees with new trees. They're bringing a bunch of trees to help us out. Unfortunately, that does not include any silky oak. They aren't ready yet. So unfortunately, I gotta wait. But that's all right. We're gonna mark where we put them and we're gonna get set up here. We have a lot of new people watching. So let's refresh everyone's memory about how we plant these trees. We plant the trees in equilateral triangles. 3 trees at 30 feet apart, equilateral triangles. After we plant the 3 trees, we then bisect those lines and we plant 3 more trees in the middle of that. So each equilateral 30-foot triangle has got 6 trees planted in it. So anyway, we take a piece of string, 3 pieces in fact, 3 pieces of string 30 feet long, tie them all together so they become an equilateral triangle. Each corner is where we plant a tree, and then we just keep moving that string as we mark the locations. Because of the fact that we lost the other string that we were using, I picked up some twine here. We're gonna measure out 3 30-foot pieces. We're gonna tie them together and start fresh with a whole new triangle. Now there's nothing fancy about this. It's real simple. We don't want to have to take the tape measure and measure out every single spot. It's a nightmare. You'd have to run the tape measure, then move. It's just... So we set up this triangle, and I'll show you how we have it set up. Basically, we've got 3 pieces of string that are tied together. If you look, this one measures, I don't know if you can see that, but it's 30 feet here. That goes over to that one where it's 30 feet apart, and that's 30 feet apart. All of these are 30 feet apart. Some of you might be saying, all right, why 30 feet? Why not, I don't know, whatever, why 30 feet? Well, the answer is real simple. The recommendation from Forestry is that these trees be planted no closer than 13 feet apart. Now, that is if you plant the same tree in a direct line. So if you're going to plant mahogany, you plant mahogany every 13 feet, no closer. As you know, we are not planting the exact same tree. We have got 6 different trees, minimum 6 different trees. If we plant the 3 corner trees at 30 feet apart, we then bisect those lines, so we plant the other trees in the center of that. We end up with them being 15 feet apart. Gives them room to grow, doesn't crowd them, and it gives us a place to plant other things. Namely for us, lemongrass. We're going to plant this whole place out with lemongrass. It's going to take some time, but that is the ultimate goal. So the place is going to be timber trees, silky oak, mahogany, cedar, blue mahoe, something else. It's going to be teak, ebony, and lignum vitae. So those 6 trees. Unfortunately, as much as I tried or planned or designed to put no 2 trees right next to each other, there are 2 or 3 places where we've got 2 mahoganies next to each other. I think I got a couple spots where I've got 2 silky oaks. But once you plant the slower grower in the middle, we don't have 2 trees next to each other anymore. The goal is to limit disease, limit pests, give us the strongest, most diverse forest possible. That's why we are growing so many different trees. I could theoretically just get mahogany, plant the whole place out with mahogany. The mahogany seems to do very well. And considering how well the mahogany does, why don't I just plant the whole place in mahogany? And it's real simple. Just because the mahogany seems to do well now, doesn't mean that we won't run into a situation where a disease or a pest, something rolls through here that only kills mahogany. Let's assume we get these trees to 30 feet tall, they're beautiful, they're healthy, and some disease comes in and wipes out all the mahogany. Well, if I had planted the whole place out in strictly mahogany, I would have lost everything. But if I plant the place out with 6 different trees, I only lose 1/6, 18%. Now, don't get me wrong, 18% is no joke. But if a disease or a pest came through that destroyed only the mahogany, I would still have a pretty healthy forest here. Also, another key thing is when you increase diversity, you reduce the chances of that one particular disease or pest rolling through and leveling your stuff. Sure, some of the stuff you're going to have issues like we had with the teak. But the chances of something coming through and totally wiping out your stuff goes down as diversity goes up. The way you really want to do this is to increase your diversity. That will protect you against things like diseases and pests. It'll increase the health of your overall forest because nowhere in nature does God monocrop. Everything is polycultures, so we want to try and mimic that system to increase our production. Here's a very welcome sight.
It's a good sign, a good sign.
Praying mantis. We want to see as many of these as possible.
Yes.
Doesn't focus
friend,
well.
like you're not using chemical and those things, you must tolerate them as much as possible.
Oh, you want as many of them as possible? You
encourage breeding.
Encourage them.
Yeah. Male aphrodisiac, they call it ironweed, but actually it's ruella. You have some blooming on the sidewalk, the same color, pink. This is native. The ones you see growing for flowers. Like they have some in front of bamboo house. Yeah. Yes, it is actually introduced, but this is native. It's what they call duppy pop gun. So. Yes, you wet this and all it. The little fruit them, it have an explosive mechanism.
Really?
Yes, it during between 10 and 1 o'clock when the sun is at it build up tension and you can stay over there and hear this exploding and it disperse the seed.
Oh.
Yes. But they root up they all up this and get the rhizome and boil it for male aphrodisiac.
Forestry guys just left. We started to get a little rain. One of the guys that came here was a dendrologist, and interestingly enough, he was asking me about a specific beetle that feasts on the mahogany. He was expecting that I would have real problems with the mahogany, and he was very surprised to see none. Not a single one of our mahoganies has been affected by that beetle, and that is a sign of good design. The fact that we were talking earlier, I was just talking about how you don't want the trees right next to each other to be the same species because of the fact that you invite pests, and the pests flourish in a condition like that. Because we don't have 2 mahoganies next to each other, in fact, the mahoganies are about 45 feet apart. So because they're 45 feet apart, they're never close enough for these beetles to go from one tree to the next to the next. So that protected us from this beetle that is apparently causing all kinds of trouble. This is why design is so important. We can do this with design and control these bugs without having to spray chemicals. There are too many people, even here, that are trying to control these pests with chemicals. They're spraying insecticide all over everything. Oh, man, we had some rain, now it's hot. I mean, it's really hot now. All right, so back to what I was saying. We're not having an issue because of the design that we put in place protects us from that issue. This is why you want to design your systems to be prepared for that sort of thing. And that's what we've done here, and it's been very effective. They were very, very happy with the results. Very impressed. We're doing very well here. Some of these trees, when I told him they've been 7, 8 months old, he couldn't believe it. He's expecting them to be significantly older. One of the things this dendrologist pointed out is regarding these ebonies. If you remember, these were all in bloom not long ago. And he pointed out that inside here, inside this, is a little seed pod. We should collect as many of these as we can and soak them overnight, and that'll give us seeds that we can plant, save us some money, because these trees are 500 Jamaican dollars a piece. And yeah, all right, doesn't sound like that much, but when you're planting 200 of them, that adds up pretty quick. So we're going to collect as many of these as we can, and I'm going to take them home and soak them. And hopefully we can get, I don't know, a few dozen of these to grow at the house, save us a few dollars. So, little girl.
It's me, right here.
How was school?
Fine.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah. You like that you're back in school?
Yeah.
What happened to your hair?
My dust just twisted out. It was just a little twirl. That's why I twisted out. It was a little smushy. That's why I twirled it out. It was so smushy together.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so smushed.
So you pulled it out.
Yeah, it was so smushed together.
I had hoped to be able to plant more. It looks like what we have is the lignum vitae and a couple ebonies, and that's it. Not all of the trees, obviously not all of them, but not the trees I had hoped. I really wanted to get into the main corners of our triangles, and the lignum vitaes are the inner trees, not the outer trees. So, but we do have some planted, so let's take a look. It's right here. We've got, this is a lignum vitae. Again, now the lignum vitae is the Jamaican national tree. It is a very hard wood. It's a really good hardwood tree. It is a slower growing tree, but it is a super hardwood, and it is very useful. Now, I'm not sure how many of these we got planted. We only got 25 of these, and unfortunately we're not going to be getting more quickly. I wish we were, but we're just not. It's going to take some time before we get more of these, but we're going to get a look at all of them and see how they are. I don't know how long it's going to take for these to grow. We're just going to kind of keep an eye on them and hope for the best. We've got some really beautiful trees around here, and they're all growing well. So we just kind of have to do our best. These lignum vitae are pretty small, and that's good and bad at the same time. It's good because when they're small, they get a good opportunity to, you're not damaging root systems when you transplant them, and they're faster to sprout and really do well. But sometimes if they're too small, they're not well enough established, and it ends up being an issue. With the troubles we had with these teak, I figured I'd take a minute and show this beautiful teak that we've got right here. This is the biggest one I think we have, but it's big and it's healthy and it's happy. This is what we want to see, and hasn't been that long. Big, beautiful, fat. Really, this is a beautiful site. I really wish we could get more of these to grow. We're working on it. We're working on it. The dendrologist said he's going to try and get me some cuttings that we can start to grow this from cuttings. I am really happy with these. Well, at least I'm happy we have them planted. Now we're going to take next week, I've got a bunch of cardboard. We're going to lay a bunch of cardboard around here, and we're going to bury all this in wood chips, hopefully, as soon as we get some. Oh wait, we do have at least a load of wood chips. Worst case, next week we'll take what's in the truck. We'll take that load and bring it up here. We'll have to load it into the truck and bring it up here. So we'll put some cardboard down, put wood chips on top of it. Unfortunately, we've got a miscommunication here because we've got this one planted here. Right there we've got an ebony, and then there's another ebony planted right there. These are all way too close to each other. They can't go. This lignum vitae's got to be moved, and we got to find a spot to move it to before it has a chance to get too situated. These are the ebony and the lignum vitae. Some of these lignum vitaes look like they're in really kind of rough shape, and these ebonies are pretty expensive, so we need to make sure everything's properly cared for. I also have here, we've got some cedar and some, this is Spanish elm. We need to get these in the ground. So next week, the plan next week is to get all these trees planted. We've got 50, we have a total of 25 lignum vitae and 25 ebonies, and then we've got another 100 or so between the three of these trees. This is cedar, this is Spanish elm, and this is bitter damsel, whatever that is. I've never heard of it before, but I'll have to look it up. And some of you might be saying, why bother pack this stuff up in the truck and take it home with you? Why not leave it here? I don't leave it here for a couple reasons. One, I can't care for it here. It's Friday, Saturdays, Sabbath, we don't work Saturdays. Sunday, I've got to take the shy one to get another practice SAT done. She needs to retake her SATs, so we've got a lot to do here. In order to do this properly, I need these trees where I can care for them easily, and at the house I can do that. What I'll do is I'll bring 10 or 20 of them every day next week until they're all planted. I'll bring some in the morning, we'll position them and get them all planted. We're gonna use the truck, we're gonna load the truck up with the wood chips that are way down at the front of the property, bring those over here and use the cardboard that I've got there, those wood chips, mulch everything in that way. I may try and go get a load of cardboard. We'll see. It would be nice to get some cardboard. What's the matter with you, boy? You don't like being in that playpen, do you? I know, the old man locked you into that playpen. Well, here we are. We unloaded the whole truck. I've watered everything. I've got them positioned where I can give them water. Kaylee, there aren't even any ants there. You probably stepped on something. Say hi to everyone. Is that the best you can do? Yes, he definitely wants to come out of the playpen. Anyway, I'm going to get these trees. Let me finish up here. What we've done is I put all the trees here. We've got about 150 trees total here. And I positioned them all, I've watered them all, and now time for me to get some dinner.
Daddy, this chair's tearing.
Yes, honey, that chair's tearing.
Yeah.
That's an old chair.
Yeah.
It's about had it. Anyway, we've got to finish up with these trees. They're positioned, watered, and properly cared for, and we will start planting them Monday. We've already planted about half of the lignum vitae, and we planted a couple of these ebonies. We're going to finish off the lignum vitae, and then we're going to start working on these bigger trees. It's an ebony tree, honey.
Emily.
Yes. So there's a plan. It's a little bit chaotic, but we're going to get this straightened out soon enough. That's it for now. We're done. Got to get pretty girl's still in her school uniform. Got to get her squared away. Time to make some dinner. Get poor Mr. Mello out of that playpen, because he's been in that playpen. He don't like it very much. I have to put him in that because he'll wander the streets if we don't. And that's it for now. We got a busy weekend, so we will see you guys Monday. God bless everyone.